This is Africa International Network.
Madam Minister, you mentioned a number of key areas that the EU is ready to engage with Africa in, that the EU is supposed to sort of fix in their cooperation with Africa. You mentioned peace and security, you mentioned good governance, and a number of them. There were four, I remember. But these two that I just cited, peace and security and good governance, these are key cancerous problems in Africa. What do you think about, and how can the EU particularly help in these two areas?
I think a key issue to have regular meetings and discussion and dialogues. I think there is a lot of shared experiences and the possibility for both for us to getting experiences for Africa and from Africa to getting experiences from us. And to have it in a more structured form than before. And that's why it's so important that the EU summit decided upon these 4 areas of future cooperation, and that just this week a working group has met in Brussels to make the practical implications of the decisions taken by the leaders in Abidjan.
And in terms of trade with Africa, there is this economic partnership agreement that the EU has signed with some African countries. And as far as I remember, some of these countries that have signed this agreement, economists at least, they say it's some sort of economic suicide for Africa. What do you think about this?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's very, very clear that for countries that needs development, free trade is the key, not development aid, because free trades give you the possibility to be competitive enough and also to get the best prices for consumers. But of course it has to be done in a rule-based system. That's, for example, why Sweden helped Liberia to become members of WTO. That was accepted in Buenos Aires in December in the fastest way any country has ever become members. And that's also why, as I mentioned in my speak today, 20 business trips has been made from Sweden only to Africa. So I'm very, very sure that if free trade agreement is done in the right way, with skilled negotiators, it will be beneficial for everybody. But we also think that there is a need for more skilled trade negotiators in Africa, and that is why Sweden is the biggest donor to Aid for Trade, to share our experiences of being really good trade negotiators. And I think that is needed for Africa, and that is something that we hopefully can help with.
But the fact that most of these African countries simply don't have the goods to trade with the EU, for instance, the EU has lots of manufactured goods they're going to have sort of a free barrier to get these goods into Africa, and Africa simply doesn't have those goods to trade at an equal terms with the EU.
I would say that that is not the case. I think that you are much too pessimistic on all the things that Africa has to offer, but goods, but also services, and in many ways I think that trade could be a key to greater development for many African countries. But it has to be good negotiated, and that's why I think that is a key for African countries to get skilled negotiators.
Thank you, Madam Minister. Thank you
very much. Thank you.